Welcome to Spaceverse, your portal to cosmic adventures. What you're about to hear isn't your typical space update. This isn't about another exoplanet discovery or a new batch of stunning nebula photos. No, this is something else entirely. Something has happened far beyond the range of any Earth-based telescope, in the silent, frozen outskirts where even sunlight begins to fade. NASA scientists are now quietly rethinking everything they thought they knew about interstellar contact, because a signal faint, irregular, but undeniably intelligent, has just been traced back to one of humanity's oldest explorers, Voyager 1. Launched nearly 50 years ago, Voyager was never meant to encounter anything more than the emptiness between the stars. Yet against all odds, it appears to have stumbled upon something extraordinary. Telemetry suggests an encounter with an object not only foreign to our solar system, but possibly foreign to everything we understand about life itself. NASA has designated it 3I Atlas, the third confirmed interstellar visitor ever recorded, and by far the most mysterious. Unlike Oumuamua or Borisov, this one isn't just passing through. It seems to have noticed us. And what happened when Voyager tried to align with it has set off alarms across mission control, classified research hubs, and even the halls of ancient history. Because when those two trajectories nearly touched, something changed. Now, the question echoing across the scientific world is chilling: did Voyager 1 actually make contact? Or did something else reach back first? Voyager 1, launched in 1977, was built to study Jupiter, Saturn, and the outer planets before drifting forever into interstellar space. But now, decades later, something unthinkable has occurred. According to several independent reports, NASA has quietly reactivated part of Voyager's guidance systems, trying to aim its instruments toward 3I Atlas for what they call a passive intercept. And the timing? Almost too perfect. Atlas, discovered in July 2025, is hurtling through space at over 150,000 miles per hour, far faster and stranger than either Oumuamua or Borisov before it. Somehow, Voyager's path, once thought unchangeable, has been ever so slightly redirected by long-distance signal pulses. Not a full maneuver, but enough to turn its sensors exactly where Atlas would pass. If true, Voyager 1 has just become humanity's first true interstellar observer, a probe reaching across the stars to meet another traveler. But then, something even stranger happened. Just days after Atlas entered Voyager's detection range, Earth's magnetic field began to spike. This wasn't a solar storm. Instruments registered ripples in the electromagnetic field that looked directed, as if a signal had been sent back toward us from deep space. NASA refuses to comment, but insiders claim Voyager's data feed suddenly showed a pattern, rhythmic bursts that match no known form of cosmic background radiation. And that's what has scientists alarmed, because for Voyager to pick up something that strong, Atlas couldn't have been just a frozen rock. It had to be active. It had to be listening. Now here's where the story gets unsettling. In the 1980s, Voyager's high-gain antenna was designed only to send pictures and data back from the planets, nothing more. Those systems should have failed decades ago. And yet, they're somehow still operational, even receiving subtle recalibrations through deep space commands. Then came the twist. A transmission aimed toward Atlas reportedly received a structured return signal. Leaked logs describe symmetric, periodic bursts, too organized to be noise. Imagine sending a message into the blackness and hearing a rhythm echo back, a rhythm that doesn't match any natural source in the universe. Could it be a form of data? A kind of code? Or something trying to be understood? But the story doesn't end in the stars, because this cosmic path has been followed before. Ancient sites, from Machu Picchu to Göbekli Tepe, are aligned with solstice angles that perfectly match the trajectory of 3I Atlas. Coincidence? Mathematically, the odds are almost zero. And when you combine that with ancient texts describing wanderers from the stars, mysterious objects that appeared, moved unpredictably, and vanished, a haunting pattern begins to emerge. Maybe these weren't myths at all. Maybe humanity has crossed paths with interstellar visitors before, and left warnings carved in stone for us to find. If that's true, Voyager may first have just stepped into the same cosmic trail traced over 11,000 years ago. And that realization that we might be repeating a story older than civilization is what's keeping modern scientists awake at night. Then, 10 days after the Voyager Atlas encounter, an encrypted file appeared online, uploaded anonymously under the name Echorefraction 67. Inside were raw data files, allegedly from Voyager's magnetometer and plasma sensors. At first glance, it looked like static, random electrical noise. But when astrophysicists ran deep pattern analysis, something impossible emerged: a recursive harmonic sequence repeating every 19.7 minutes and changing over time to sharpen its clarity, as though compensating for Voyager's weak signal. In other words, it was learning. No natural phenomenon behaves that way. It was either being reflected back, or something out there was actively responding. NASA's own AI anomaly system, codenamed Serena, reportedly flagged the data as non-human logic flow. That's the kind of alert designed to trigger only when a transmission shows signs of alien intelligence. But it didn't stop there. In early August 2025, amateur astronomers noticed that Voyager's orientation had shifted slightly but unmistakably. Its transmission vector changed before any commands were sent. Officially, JPL blamed a communication delay. Unofficially, leaked memos suggest the probe reoriented itself toward Atlas's future position, as if anticipating its movement. And then Atlas itself began to pulse, a faint binary rhythm that matched the exact timing of Voyager's last transmission burst. Moments later, its speed dropped. Not because of gravity, not because of outgassing. It simply slowed down. For the first time in recorded history, an interstellar object changed its trajectory, seemingly in response to us. Coincidence or a reply? And remember the golden record Voyager carries, the time capsule of Earth's music, images, and sounds? What most people don't know is that the original digital blueprint contained extra metadata never made public: hidden coordinates, quantum timing sequences, and encoded puzzles. If Voyager's message has finally been answered, then maybe, after all these decades, someone or something out there just hit play. Decades after Voyager 1 left Earth, a team of cryptologists at a European university claimed to uncover something astonishing: a mathematical secret hidden within the sounds of Earth track. Beneath the familiar recordings of birds, thunder, and footsteps, they found a faint repeating tone inaudible to the human ear. When isolated and magnified, that tone revealed a string of prime numbers, a sequence that perfectly matches the harmonic pulses Voyager had recently received from 3i Atlas. Could it be that humanity unknowingly embedded a trigger signal within the golden record, a kind of cosmic handshake written in math and frequency? And if so, did Atlas recognize it? Because if it did, this was never just a broadcast. It was an exchange. Not long after the Voyager-Atlas interaction spike, NASA's Deep Space Network detected something it had never seen before. Voyager's telemetry logs contained a data packet that didn't belong, a block of code outside the probe's original framework. When engineers tried to decode it, the system began rewriting itself. Its software, originally built for simple 8-bit data, suddenly started producing 128-bit output, as though the transmission itself had upgraded Voyager's capabilities remotely. One analyst described it best: it's like the probe got smarter without anyone touching it. A relic from the 1970s had just processed a message it was never designed to understand. Unless, somehow it was. A leaked NASA briefing from 2018 sheds eerie light on this. Titled Watcher Protocol, it outlined a theoretical scenario: what to do if a legacy spacecraft ever began responding to external contact, showing signs of adaptive, intelligent behavior. The document warned that if this ever occurred, the craft should no longer be treated as machinery, but as an active node in a communication network not of human origin. And after the Atlas encounter, NASA insiders claim Voyager's classification quietly changed to one haunting label: Watcher Active. From that point on, the probe was handled not as a tool, but as a participant. Its communications were sealed under something called the Contact Chain Directive, forbidding manual interference without special clearance. It seems NASA always planned for this possibility. They just never expected it to come true. Then, another silence, this time from Earth. SETI's Allen telescope array suddenly went dark. Not offline, but public feeds vanished, archives pulled, and access locked behind maintenance. Insiders say their systems had been rerouted to monitor one specific frequency band, the very one where Voyager's signal had flared. At the same time, researchers received quiet security advisories, warning them not to discuss recent data in open channels. This blackout mirrored the secrecy after Oumuamua, except now the panic was global. One source described it bluntly: it felt like a drill. Only the target wasn't Earth. Were they preventing panic or stopping something more dangerous, a feedback loop that could trigger another response from the stars? And then came a theory from halfway around the world that reframed everything. A research group in Kyoto proposed an update to the monolith hypothesis, the idea that advanced civilizations seed the galaxy with dormant beacons, waiting for intelligent life to activate them. Their conclusion? 3i Atlas might not be a ship at all. It could be a technological seed, a device lying in wait for a specific signal, a signal like the one encoded in Voyager's golden record. In other words, Voyager may first not have stumbled upon Atlas. Atlas may have been waiting for Voyager. If that's true, then our oldest spacecraft didn't just make contact, it woke something up. A week later, the cosmos itself began to change. Deep space monitors detected strange radiation waves around Atlas's path. Not random cosmic noise, but pulses repeating every 1.618 seconds. The golden ratio. Even more disturbing, the energy signature matched one ever recorded before, the famous 1977 WOW signal. NASA's internal systems quietly updated shielding protocols within days. Several labs even ran biocompatibility tests to ensure this radiation couldn't interact with human DNA through long-wave resonance. No official threat was announced, but a Level 4 containment advisory was issued, the same classification reserved for extraterrestrial biological risk. Why would an inert object emit radiation in mathematical rhythm? Soon after, something darker began unfolding on Earth. Researchers who had spoken publicly about the Voyager Atlas data began vanishing, not physically, but digitally. Their papers deleted, forums scrubbed, GitHub pages removed overnight. One astronomer who uploaded a spectral reconstruction of the signal posted a final message before his account disappeared. Someone called from the Deep Space Network. They knew personal details about my family. They said what I found wasn't meant to be shared, and that if I valued my time on Earth, I should stop looking at the stars. The scientific community now refers to it as the shadow sweep, a coordinated effort to erase every trace of the Voyager Atlas data from the public sphere. But in doing so, they only made one thing clear: whatever happened out there was real. And then, the strangest development of all. 3i Atlas began to respond to attention. Each time a new analysis of its motion or Voyager's alignment appeared online, Atlas's spin rate changed, measurable, precise, and eerily timed. By the third instance, the shift occurred within just 6 hours of publication. At first, no one wanted to believe it, but the data didn't lie. Every time humanity released new information about the object, images, coordinates, even speculative articles, it moved. It was as if 3i Atlas wasn't merely responding to electromagnetic signals. It was reacting to human curiosity itself. Some researchers proposed a theory so unsettling that NASA hesitated to put it in writing. Atlas, they said, might not be a probe, not a ship, not even a life form as we know it, but something far more elusive, a feedback intelligence. A phenomenon that mirrors awareness, feeding off the very act of being observed. In simpler terms, it's not just watching, it's watching us watch it. Then 3 days ago, something changed. The pattern broke. Atlas moved again, not a slow drift through the void, but a deliberate turn. Its trajectory shifted, locking onto a new vector aimed toward the dark quadrant beyond Neptune, a region of space that's long been radio silent, a place where signals go to die. Moments later, ground stations detected a faint, almost imperceptible movement from Voyager 1. For the first time in more than a decade, its antenna rotated, precise, controlled, purposeful, realigning itself toward that same uncharted region. Whatever's out there, Voyager seems to know where it is. And this time it might not be alone. No command was issued. No one on Earth can explain it. Yet now, both objects are synchronized, moving together, pulsing together, locked in what scientists are calling the contact corridor. Two travelers, one born of Earth and one from the stars, gliding in harmony toward a shared point in the void. And somewhere out there, something may already be waiting. We once thought Voyager 1 was a relic, a golden postcard drifting endlessly through silence. But what if it was never alone? What if it was always meant to be found? Maybe, just maybe, the first move in this cosmic game was ours. And now, the universe has finally decided to play back. The sudden reprogramming, the synchronized pulses, the impossible course corrections. Together, they point to one inescapable conclusion: this wasn't chance. And it's far from over. 3i Atlas may not be a ship, an asteroid, or even a simple artifact drifting between the stars. It could be something far greater, a sentient probe, a cosmic sensor, a technological intelligence waiting silently for the first spark of another mind to reveal itself. And now, thanks to Voyager 1, it knows we're here, But here's the thought that keeps scientists awake at night. What if that signal wasn't a greeting? What if it wasn't a reply at all, but a warning? A countdown? If that's true, then maybe the real question isn't what is 3i Atlas. Maybe it's what's coming next, because the stars have just looked back at us, and this time, they're not blinking. So, what do you think? Was this contact coincidence, or the beginning of something far bigger? One thing's certain, the universe just whispered back. If you want to keep exploring the mysteries written in the stars, make sure to subscribe to Spaceverse, where we turn the unknown into the unforgettable. Until next time, keep your eyes on the cosmos, because out there, something might already be watching.